It began at Levy Middle School in 2006. And it kind of, I had a lot of the same dreams that some of our boys do, right? I, I wanted to become a Boston Celtic. I wanted to go to college and play ball. And then I got in college, and what I left at home was my values and my mentors and my coaches, and I got into some mess with some drug and alcohol addiction, and my life crashed and burned, right. And so I got after I dropped out of college. I got some grace, and my life started getting a little bit better, and I got back to my school. I got my degree. I went and I started chasing what I thought life was supposed to get, what I thought was supposed to get out of life, right? So I got into teaching, I got into coaching, worked my way up the ladder. I was coaching two varsity sports. I got married, got a big house. My wife and I traveled, and then we struggled. And then my marriage fell apart, and I was left like, what kind of man am I? And I was looking at, wow, what kind of lies I believed. And then one day I was looking in the gym at Levy, and I said, wow, if these boys, if they chase the same kind of ideas of manhood that I chased, they're going to feel the same pain. So what could I do? So it was out of that pain that I started changing this intramural basketball program into what we have as Building Men. And then, as some of you know, Mr. Leffler was over at Clary, and I talked to him about it, and he liked the ideas too. And so he started at Clary in 2007, and then it grew. Before COVID, we were in 8 middle schools and 5 high schools, and then this year it looks like maybe 6 or 7 middle schools, our first elementary school, and 3 high schools. So that's kind of where we are. And so I got these 3 quotes up because they kind of sum up what I would hope our middle school program is over the course of the year. Can someone read the first quote by Martin Luther King on character?
I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
And so we need to talk to our boys about character. We also need to talk to our boys about race as well. We need to make sure that they're well informed, and we, like as EJ says, we equip them with the tools and the tool belt so they can be successful. Could someone else read the middle one on belonging?
Love, belonging, and connections are the universal sources of the true well-being.
And I want them all to know where they belong. This suicide rate is so high right now, especially amongst our young men. Is people don't feel like they belong. They don't feel like they fit in. They're always judging and being compared to, social media and to each other. And so I want them all to know that there's a safe place where they feel like they belong, and they feel safe, and they feel like they're needed and wanted. And can someone read the last one on value?
Surround yourself with people who see your value and remind you of it.
And very similar to what Sean says, I had a teacher that believed in my value. He believed in my worth. And I want our boys to know that we believe in their gifts and their passions and their greatness that they've been born with. And we need to be that person for them. I'm sorry, I'm lost all over the place. And so we're going to take a look at the new playbook. That's the cover. That's going to be the new logo. And it's being printed later this month, and I'll get you all a copy as soon as it comes hot off the press. We're going to take, I will give you a virtual copy later this week, and a folder of other resources that can help you plan. But I wanted just to go through some of the nuts and bolts. We're not going to read the whole thing because you guys are all intelligent men. But I just wanted to be able to share a couple things with you real quick. And so let me get the manual up. Oh, where is it? There it is. Okay. And so this is our mission statement. To support young men in the journey towards becoming men of character by helping them develop their purpose and passion, instill integrity in their leadership, provide them with opportunities to build healthy relationships with others. We strongly believe that developing a fellowship of young men striving to become responsible men will increase their motivation, passion, and leadership and help create a positive impact upon the young man's development. And so right in there you see the serve, which we'll talk about. Significance, integrity, and values, and builds relationships. And that is our core. Oh, so here's a little bit of the why factor. We'll talk about that a little bit later, so you can see it. And those are our 3 core values. We want our boys to know that they are part of something greater. Whether it's their community, whether it's a brotherhood of building men, whether it's their church, whether it's a school, is that they are significant. They are an important part of the community in which they live, and they are significant, and they can make it a better place. We want our boys to learn about their integrity, to be able to listen to the heart, to know that the decisions, all right, inside, to take a look and to be honest and look at what's going on inside of them instead of believing everything that they hear outside of the world. And we want them to build healthy relationships, not only among students, but also adults and authority figures, to be able to interact and to be able to have healthy relationships. Okay. Here are our goals and objectives. Okay. We want to increase the value of education. We want our boys to understand that it is about education. That's our lane, right? There's power in education. Once they get the degree, no one can take it away from them. It is a way in which they can build skills. They can build a resume. They can continue to work. They can continue to grow. Want them to understand significance, integrity, and how to value and build relationships. We want to increase their level of exposure and different opportunities. So we had a group of seniors that graduated recently, and I asked them, I said, how many college visits did you go on between 7th and 12th grade? And the minimum number was 7. And so out of these 7 guys that responded, there was 7, 8s, 9s, 12s. One guy went on 14. And I think that's a big reason why they're off in college right now, is we expose them to different opportunities. I want to get our boys out into different businesses and different careers. I want to bring in speakers. I want them to be exposed to different opportunities. And so I think that's a really important thing that we can do, because some of the boys connect really well with our speakers. We want to increase their accountability and their personal responsibility, have positive relationships with other students and adults, and to create a brotherhood in which they will work work together for success. They'll check each other. They'll keep each other accountable to keep each other on the right page. And these are the objectives that we believe will help us get there, as we do character talks and talk about social emotional skills and character, as well as bringing guest speakers, various activities where they learn how to work together and compete, have discussions on those activities, participate in community service, do academic progress reports, and we're going to change that up a little bit this year. We have the rite of passage trips and other special events that I'm hoping will happen this year, and they'll build relationships with other members of the Building Men program. Okay, these are some educational goals. So if you are required to do the I'm talking about lesson plans, and they want to see where your educational goals are. If you look in the manual, the different parts of the manual tells you what goal, education goals it aligns to. So that's in their front end. We're going to make a push to work on social emotional learning this year, and the 5 competencies of CASEL: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. These are the ones that we hit the most in the Building Men world. They're here in the manual, and we will give you some more information and training about that as we go. And so when it boils down to it, what are the questions? So our essential questions to help our young men find their value, worth, and their greatness is we want them to define what is a man, what is their journey to manhood, what is their purpose in school and in the future. And I believe there's a connection there. If I can connect my dreams of the future to what I'm doing presently in school, that helps me do better, motivates me to do better as a student. How does my integrity show daily, and how can it be changed, right? So how can I take a look at what's going on inside of me, and like AC talk about my feelings and what's going on inside of my heart, and be able to take a look at the truth about me and how I can change that to become a better man. What are the components of healthy relationships, and what responsibilities do I have to myself, my teammates, and my community? Okay. And some people are more visual learners like myself. And so here is a little map of what the Building Men program looks like. And we have 6 basic components that has created the Building Men program: their character, honorable competition, academics, the end of the year rite of passage trip, community service, and relationships. So those are the key components that we talk about in the Building Men world. And you'll have all of this electronically by the end of the week, and then in the manual soon. So in the manual, when you get to it, there's certain symbols. So there's the whistle and the coaching points. So this is where we'll talk about what things should be emphasized, what skills should be emphasized, what are some points of emphasis in that, so you can use those teachable moments. Okay. The SEL skills are what social emotional skills are really focused in that particular part of the Building Men program. And the clipboard are procedures. Once the boys learn procedures, and once we get some leaders, boy, I tell you, it moves really quickly. You really can get a lot done. You know, and it's establishing those procedures, as all of you guys know, because you're in the education business, and getting them to understand the importance of creating healthy habits and getting good routines going that can help the program become more successful. And the why factor is a little bit of the insight on what I was thinking, and when we created this, and what's some of the impact I've seen in the stories that I have been a part of in Building Men. Okay. You have a little section in the life in Building Men. We're going to talk about that at another point. And so I'm going to pop back to the PowerPoint, I hope. So I'm just trying to give you a quick little overview of, is that the right thing? Yeah, of what's in the manual. Okay. Then there's a section on all of this in the manual: the chalk talks, the playbook, the book break, honorable competition, Building Men creed, post game, and the circles. Okay, these are all different sections that are in the playbook as well, and they give you a little insight on what's happening. The chalk talks we'll go over in a moment after we go through S&Ds. The book break, the playbook, we are going to go back to redesigning the playbook that we used this summer. It's more of a daily planner, which we can use on a daily basis to write reflections on quotes, priority lists, help them manage their time, help them take a look at different things in their day and what they got to do. And in the back, we are going to have a section where they can do weekly goals and monthly goals. Okay. We're going to pilot it a little bit at Grant right away. Sean's going to help me with that. And then I'm hoping the print shop can make me some copies and we can get them to you guys by November. Okay. We're going to talk about, the book break. I'll give you a list of books that we have class sets of. And some of the boys really like it. I know EJ had great success with the book club, with the book break that he was doing. So whether you read it to the boys, whether they tag team read, whether they do choral reading, independent reading, is just getting our boys to love some really good literature We'll definitely give you a list of books that we can rotate around the different sites that we have. On about competition, the first part I just want to talk about is team building. I think team building is very important. We have some team building experts amongst our staff. So we're going to give you some a little handbook and the resources of a whole bunch of team building games. If you need help in this department, please write it in the chat. We will get somebody to help you, because we got some guys that have wealth of knowledge and experience in there. On the Building Men Creed, we want everyone to know it, and we want you to be able to pick it apart. You know, there's some really good stuff in there to have discussions about and talk to our boys about. The post-game conference, that's where we talk about what happened in our competition, what happened in our activity. It gives us a chance to teach some social emotional learning, some manhood. You know, for example, we can talk about conflict resolution, self-management, some discipline, help them identify their emotions, and help them build relationships. And circles is on. If anyone needs help running circles, please let us know. We have some guys that are very, very good at have restorative circles, community building circles, and that would help as well in your discussions with the boys. All right, so right now it's about 4:55. I'm gonna grab some water. If everybody wants to just take a little stretch break, if we can come back by 5 at the latest, that would be great. I don't want to have you sitting down the whole time. I know we got to get up and stretch. And then if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. All right, I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back. All right. So we'll keep rolling here a little bit. Pat, are you here with us? Mr. Carroll.
Yes, I am.
How are you, man? Good to see you, sort of, in the virtual world. Want to introduce yourself? In the beginning, everybody said name, school, and a message, or what they wanted the boys to get out of it.
Yeah, my name is Pat Carroll. I'm from Grant Middle School, and I want the boys to feel comforted, like they got a place to go when a lot of them don't really have a place to go, or you know, especially in the middle school, they start not trusting mom as much. So they don't want to run and tell mom their problems, and there might not be a male figure in the room or at the house. So one of the best things about this program is being the face for those boys and giving them an outlet, a place to talk, and like I heard you say several times, Mr. Rand, way to become a young man, how to learn how to become a young man. So I really enjoy that, and I love going to the fair, especially because I get to see all the kids again, and then they get to see how they're doing. They tell you, hey man, that one little talk you gave me still sticks to my head to this day. So that I love that about this program, and definitely love seeing them grow up into nice young men.
Awesome. Glad to have you. So we're going to move into a little bit of character and where that fits in. And so what we did is we, over the course of the years, we came up with what we thought was a good list of character traits. And we sorted them, as you can see on the screen, by significance, integrity, and relationship. And so these were the things that, I was talking to the staff over the course of a couple of years. These are the things we want our boys to learn about perspective, about responsibility, about dreams, about the ripple effect of forgiveness, speaking your truth. And so we put those into a Canvas course last year. And so it's still available. So if you do not have access to the Build a Men Canvas course that we did last year, please throw your name in the chat --Canvas so we can make sure. For the people that aren't in the district, we want to get you a Google folder of the same material. And so what we did was, instead of creating chalk talks all the time, and we wanted to create the character over the course of the week. Okay. And so this is what it would look like. So over the course, so on Monday, we'll talk about what the word is, what the word or the theme of the week is. All right. And then this is where I want you to ask the kids, well, what do they think it means? Kind of get their knowledge base on what they know about it, right? Kind of set the stage for the week, and have them define it in their own terms. And then on Tuesday, we'll give you a quote that's related to the theme, and then you share that with the boys and have a little discussion on what they think that means. Wednesday will be a video. Most of the videos are about 3 to 6 minutes long, so they're not very long, but sometimes the boys get some powerful messages from the videos. And it's also a way that we can introduce them to some motivational speakers, and some really good videos that they could watch at their own time. Thursday, we have another quote. And then on Friday, we want to take a look at some action steps. How can they set a goal to use that in their life? Or how can they incorporate it in their life? What can they do when we're talking about perseverance, or when we're talking about speaking your truth, or we're talking about choices and disciplines? How does it make it relevant to where they're at right now in their life? And then we're going to leave the chalk talks to monthly. All right. Instead of weekly, we're going to do it monthly. I lost my mouse again. Okay, and so here would be the monthly chalk talk topics. And so sometime in October, I'll do a little introduction to building men. In November, it's a man. December, it'll be dreams and goals. January, integrity. February, obstacles and failure. March, passion and purpose, April, relationships, and May, celebrations. And I am probably going to definitely changing 2 of those topics after I was talking to somebody the other day. And so that may not be the actual list that comes to you at that point. With each chalk talk, this is what a chalk talk is. It's a PowerPoint. There comes videos, quotes, and a narrative comes with it that gives you an idea of what are some questions, what are some things that we can talk about during the chalk talk. Okay. And so what I love about this is that being intentional, energy flows where attention goes. And what I love about Wooden's quote is, it's not what you teach, it's what you emphasize. And so if we continue over and over to talk to these guys about healthy habits, good choices, self-management, checking your emotions, checking in, all these things, whatever we emphasize over and over and over again, and we give it that energy, the boys are going to get it. Okay. So in middle school, if we take a look at the middle school program, okay, so every school is a little bit different. Some schools have an academic portion. Some schools just have time where they do their homework. Some schools have neither. And then sometimes you're required to do the academic, or sometimes you just do the enrichment part. So it depends upon the building. So you need to talk to the coordinator of your building on what is happening with the academic piece. Okay. If you're doing the academic piece, then usually the district gives you a little bit of curriculum that you need to go over. If not, then we can talk about that and we can figure out what we want to do curriculum wise for building men. Okay. I think when you first get the boys in, you got to have some kind of instant activity, some kind of fitness, some kind of moving. They have been just in the building all day long, and we need to get them some energy out. We get them moving. They're boys. They want to move. They want to do some fitness. We're trying to get some fitness routines together, just 5-6 exercises, give them to you in case you want to use them, just so the boys can start working out. It would be ideal to have the boys lead the fitness, right? And start getting some of that leadership development going. And then have a time for check-in, just where they can see where everyone's at. You have a little character piece, and then you have a little activity, and then closure. For closure, it's a check back in. How did they go? We will talk about spreading the love, and then we have a creed, and then we'll have Sean teach us how to spread the love and let's go when we get towards the end of our session today. Now, some schools have other resources than others, right? Some schools have a computer lab, some can use the gym, some can use the gym at the end of the day. Some have a hallway, some have auditoriums, libraries. So it's best to talk to your school and whoever's running the building men program, the after school program in your building, to figure out what kind of resources are available, what kind of things can we use. Okay, so if I was going to do a daily building men, okay, an example of a daily schedule, I'd have my check-in. I'd come in and we do some kind of instant activity, some kind of game, some kind of fitness. Get the boys moving, right? Just have a little something going on. If I could get outside, I'd definitely go outside. Inside, I would just working on fitness. You could have a book break. We give them 10, 15 minutes of reading a novel and a little discussion. If we can't get outside, we can do inside projects. We are working on creating some units to help you guys, if you guys are interested, some inside projects, some type of masculinity curriculum, whether it's going to be Most Club, whether it's going to be a chalk talk, or whether it's a guest speaker. I leave the last 5 minutes to just kind of the coaches talk. Let's wrap up the day, inspire them, okay, and get those boys moving to greatness, kind of close up the day, the lessons of the day, and get the boys the takeaways of the day, and then any closing announcements, any kind, we spread the love, creed, let's go. They all don't have to be on the same day. We're going to progress them in. Monthly planning. So this is how I would look at the month. Right? Is that once a month we're going to do a chalk talk. We already talked about that. Your character theme, you're going to have a weekly character theme. I would try to get 2 restorative circles in per month. And you can choose the topics. If you're new at doing circles, please make sure that you let me know and we get you some circle training before it starts. I think it's important that we encircle that we can create that safe space amongst the boys where they can talk, like AC was talking about earlier, and they can be vulnerable. They can talk about what's going on. I've heard some amazing stories from boys in circle because they felt safe enough to share what was going on with them, and we're able to get them some help. Just figure out what kind of physical activities, what kind of projects, what kind of team building activities you want. I would try to get 2 or 3 speakers in a month. I have a whole list of speakers of guys who would come in. Now with the virtual world, if your boys are down with that, we can bring in some virtual speakers, but definitely have some men around our community that like to come in and talk to our boys. I like to do some goal setting with some commitment cards and with the character book. I'm not going to start that until December because there's a lot going on in the beginning of the first 2 months. Run the Men of Strength Club once a week if possible. We are going to hold some trainings for the Men of Strength Club, otherwise known as the MOST Club. If I had to look at the attendance, I think we have over half of you guys are already trained in MOST Club, which is great. The other guys will need to set up some training for you to do that. And then, talk about your academic component. So this is kind of what I was referring to a little bit earlier. For the activities, whatever's in your wheelhouse, whatever is your passion, it usually works. Because the boys are going to buy into people, not programs. All right. They're going to be in building men because of you, because of the man that you are and what you bring to the table. And if you told them we're going to play tiddlywinks for a week, they'd probably say, let's go. And they're really excited about it. So if you have something, I know people have done some robotics, some people have done some different activities. We've had some cooking stuff. People have done some building and some rugby, some football, whatever's in fitness, whatever's in your wheelhouse. That is great. You have permission to use that, right? That's the activity. That's the boys, time. Now there's also things that the boys want to do. And if we can make that happen, let's make that happen. There's some things, some activities the boys want. Like last year, the boys want to learn about some finances. So we brought in some financial literacy people. We had some boys that wanted to learn about coding, and so we have some coding stuff going around. Okay. Currently, we're working on a resource guide from October to December with some building unit, a racing unit, and a bridge building unit. From January to March is usually when we run the fitness combine in the basketball league, because there's a 3-week period in March that the gyms are typically available. We got to talk about that a little bit in advance. And still working on what the guide is going to look like for April to May. And other things that we've been thinking about is and trying to develop is obstacle courses, a fitness plan, and maybe even a mini Olympics. So we have some resources also available. SFQ and SECNY both have people that will come in and do anywhere from 1 to 4 sessions on financial literacy. We have curriculum by Jeremy Anderson. It's a social emotional stories that you may want to use with your boys. Men of Vision is a character activity-based curriculum that district has, and I have those manuals I'll give to you. Movies and videos, sometimes they're very powerful. I wouldn't recommend using them over too much, because then we're going to lose some boys. And of course, what boys want, and sometimes they just need the time to chill. Sometimes they just need time to chill and hang out with their boys. Now, we've done this in certain buildings and we've had some success, so I want to pass this along, right? Is to have grade level champions. And so man or woman, right? At each grade level, 6, 7, 8, that can mentor, that can love them, and that kind of be a cheerleader for the Building Men program. And what they can do is they can help monitor academics, behavior, and attendance. They can help you pass out and collect permission slips and paperwork, gives the boys another accountability partner and someone they can check in with, because sometimes our boys just need a stable person to check in and out with. And so what we do and how we do it, right? And so when it boils down to, and we get down to brass tacks, it's about creating a safe space where they feel wanted. We want to teach them the joy of learning. And it's not just book learning, it's life learning, right? Create a brotherhood of guys that look out for each other. And treat everyone with love and respect, and they work together to protect each other, no matter the background, no matter the race. And we want all boys to know 3 things, because all the boys, they want to know, do I have what it takes? They want to know, am I loved? And they want to know that they belong. So we want our boys to know the answers to those 3 questions. All right, so crock pot or microwave? All right, let's talk ribs. In the chat, if you would like ribs made in a microwave, put down microwave. If you would like ribs made in a crock pot, put in a crock pot. Anybody else? Ribs in a crock. All right. Okay. Smoker. I thought there's got to be somebody different. All right. Why in a crock pot? Anybody want to share?
This is Carol. I put crock pot or low and slow because something about taking all that time all day, the way that the juices mesh together and those ribs, they come out, pull right off the bone. Man, you microwave some ribs, they're gonna come out tough, like leather.
Oh, we got someone from a grill. Okay. All right. So I agree, right? So this is not going to be a instant fix for the boys. And some people say, all right, send them to Building Men and we're supposed to instantly fix them. And I'm not sure that that is possible. These boys are coming from so many different backgrounds, so many things are going on in their life, is that this is a slow process. This is a crock pot process. This is an everyday loving them, every day giving them another skill, every day having that same discussion and over a period of time. Obviously, the most impact that we have is over the long haul. I've had guys in Building Men from 6th grade all the way through to seniors, right? We've had guys that are the one and done, right? But we want to continue them over the long haul. There's a number of guys that are in high school Building Men that are in high school Building Men because they were in Building Men at middle school. And it'd probably be fair to say that they're in there for a reason because they've made a connection and something is working for them. So don't get all hooked up that and get all stressed out that it's not working. It's a slow process, and it works over time. So I want to give a moment or a couple moments for any questions so far.
Hey Joe, quick question.
Yes, sir.
I can't remember if you answered this question before or not, but do we get compensation for doing this?
The compensation has been going through the after school programs. So we'd have to talk about, find out if McCarthy, you guys have after school program in your building?
Right, that's what I was asking, because we didn't have an after school program. But ours
Okay,
will be like during like the end of the day.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm writing that down right now.
Joe, there was another question in the chat that you might be able to shed a little more light on about field trips this year.
Yeah, I'm not sure where we're at with field trips yet this year. I heard the field trips are okay, if they're within the county. I am usually one that we always go to is Cortland. And so I am gonna talk to the people at Cortland. But most of our field trips happen the second semester. So I have not set up anything right now. So I have not ventured into that. But I heard that they're letting us have field trips within the county. That's all I know right now. But great question. We'll find out about that. Anything else I might have moved a little bit too fast on, or whether you want more clarification on? So we're going to try to set up everything either in a Google course or in a Canvas course. So you have all of the character and all of this information at your disposal. Good. Okay. All right, so we're gonna move forward a little bit. So I think I was. Oops. Okay, so Most Club. Most Club is a curriculum of a healthy masculinity that was developed by an organization called Men Can Stop Rape out of Washington, D.C. We've partnered with the Vera House over the last 6 years, I believe, in doing the Men of Strength Club. It comes with a 6 to 8 hour training, and that we are going to find a time. If you did not put in your information in the training PD link that I've had in every email on Monday, please do so, because that's going to help me find out a time where we can do some training for people. And so it'll probably be most of it will probably be virtual, just because it's easier on people's for commuting purposes. But we want to be able to get everyone to do the Men of Strength Club. It's very important for these boys to have a space where they can talk about these issues that are from sexual domestic violence to bullying, to race, to what is a man, to the dominant story and the counter story. And as some of the guys on the screen could attest to, that are very powerful conversations, and conversations that these kids really look forward to. Okay. In December, I'm going to come back to all of this information on the combine, the draft, the basketball league, the sportsmanship coins, and all of the basketball stuff. So I will set up a time where we can do a virtual training, or we may even make it a video training that will walk you through the manual and talk about the basketball and combine league that we do. So special events. So this is kind of what they were talking about there for the field trip. So typically in the building men world, I know I always have a building men kickoff, because I don't start my program until December, and some other programs have also do a little kickoff. So typically in December on that half day, I just keep the boys and we feed them lunch, have an open gym, and talk about building men, talk about what we're trying to do, talk about the procedures. This kind of just introduction and kind of get the hype up and excitement up. Sometimes different schools have times over the Christmas break that they get the boys in. It's completely up to you. If you're interested in doing something like that, I'll certainly front the food and stuff that you need. But we have to make sure we get our permits in for the space, because the programs try to eat up every little ounce of gym school time as they possibly can. Talk about community service in a split second. The rite of passage trips, that's kind of our well, it's not kind of, it is our culminating experience that we have in May. As we take the lessons that we learned and that we talked to the boys about over the course of the year, and we put it in a kind of a outdoor adventure type of day. We do day trips at Arenda Springs from 9 to 2, or we even do an overnight where we'll go 9 on a Friday to 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. So they're very good times to get the boys out into nature, test them a little bit out there with low ropes and high ropes, and just get them out of the social media technology world and to nature to have some real conversations. We're hoping to get everyone on a college visit. We have a partnership with Cortland College, so at least we get them all out to Cortland. If there's other opportunities, there may be an opportunity to Oswego for our high school guys. And if there are other opportunities, then we'll see what we can do about that. Our lock-in. Different schools have done different things with this. Some people have had a lock-in from 3 to 5, we've gone to 3 to 7, we've gone 3 to 9. It's just a time, and during March when things are just rough and everybody's stir fever, just to have the boys there and feed them some dinner and bring in a speaker, and sometimes do some community service, sometimes have some playoff games, sometimes a little dodgeball, a little soccer. It's just to have the boys enjoy the time, and get them, off their phones for a little bit and to interact with each other. It always seems to be a good time. Community service. Usually we have during the midwinter break, we have a sandwich making on Tuesdays. There's also community service opportunities on sandwich Saturdays with Alameen. If you have any other ideas for community service, I am open. We try a Super Bowl every year. So right around the end of the year, beginning of January, end of the football season, when the Super Bowl is around, we try to do a canned food drive. We call it the Super Bowl. Any other ideas? I think it's very important that we teach the boys how to give first and receive second. I think it just really helps them to be able to give back and understand what giving is about and being part of the community. So if you have any ideas about community service, we could talk about them and see if we can make them happen. This summer we had a sports camp. And so we ran a soccer and basketball camp at Grant, a basketball camp at Lincoln, and a football camp at Roberts. I am going to assume right now that the same thing will happen next summer, although I'm not 100% positive, because you never know what happens from time to time in this day and age of COVID in our district. What I would love to have happen is that every single boy that is with you during the school year in the after school program sign up for the sports camp. This is not about being a great athlete or professional athlete. It's about playing. It's about learning. We have ELA and math in the morning. We have a man's class where we talk about masculine. We have chalk talks. We have guest speakers. We have fitness. And then of course we have sports. And so it's just a good thing for the boys to do over the course of the summer. They do get summer school credit. It's taught by building men staff. And we just try to keep the boys going all year round. So this is our attempt to keep them all through the summer. So if I was going to say, or if somebody asks me, what's the non-negotiables? What do our boys need to know? Well, I think they need to know the creed. I think they need to know how the creed impacts their life. They need to know what the character coins are about, and we'll talk to them about that when we talk about the basketball league, and we'll talk a little more about that. You know, it's the importance of winning with humility, losing with grace. The importance of recognizing that I can compete against you, and you're not my enemy. You know, that we can debate. You know, we can have a competition. We can compete against each other and still maintain the relationship. I want them to know the value of education, just how important it is, and give them the skills that they need to further their education, and to know what SIR is: significance, integrity, and the value of build relationships. So as everything with our district and in the world of, hang on, lost my place for a minute. Oh, okay. And in the world of after school program is that we get evaluated. Okay. We get evaluated on what they call bag data: behavior, attendance, and grades. And so they look and see if our boys, compared to a control group of boys over the course of the year, whether they improved academically with their grades, whether their attendance improved, whether the building man is making them come to school more often, and whether the behavior improved, whether the skills that we're teaching them to get along and the ways we're teaching them to, you know, to solve their conflicts peacefully, and whether the respect that they're learning and the responsibility is helping them behave better. And so we also have a private professor from SU. He is going to do a research project on building men to see how we impact the boys and how the boys respond to our program. And so there's going to be at least 2 pre-surveys that every boy needs to do. They'll need to do kind of like do a little intake with them, for lack of a better word, right? Is every boy that comes in, they're going to need to do both pre-surveys, okay? And then we'll monitor what's going on with them academically and character-wise throughout the course of the year. And then there'll be some post-surveys, as well as the district pulling data on their behavior, attendance, and grades. So all of that is going to happen this year. And so I will get you the pre-surveys as soon as I get them. We're going to try to do some electronically that they can do on a laptop or on the phone. It's just easier for our boys and us to capture that data. Now the district thinks that, you know, we're supposed to increase, you know, their academics and their attendance and their behavior, but doesn't necessarily translate sometimes when we're playing and when we're teaching them SEL skills, but it will over the long haul. Remember, this is about the crock pot, you know. And so what we really want to do is, over the course of these next 8 months, is expose them to different opportunities, expose them and talk to them about getting into programs, right? That can help them, like LPP and Upward Bound and Syracuse Challenge, right? And Hillside. Say yes. All right, I really want to get the CTE teachers to come talk to your boys. I think it's really important that they understand all of the options that are going on in high school, because high school has changed, right? They can leave high school with college degrees. Now, if they get that ITC, they can get certified training for the programs that follow. All right, so we need to get these guys to understand that the whole world of trades is going to open up and blow up like crazy within the next 2 years in Syracuse, with the whole I-81 and everything that's going around with Syracuse Build. And our boys can benefit from that. if they get the knowledge and if they get the exposure.